Hello, myself Sunil Ramkrishnan Nair. Basically, today we are going to talk about the Formula God basically, and in this basically it's a 50 second part basically, 50 till 51 basically we have discussed lots of things. In this basically we are going to discuss about little bit about the banking investment which bank has made and how basically government runs their how government runs the country basically, that also we will see. First we will see how the basic bank investment has happened till now. Basically the bank investment basically you can say the whatever amount, if they are investing, they might be investing in the new creation or they might be investing in the existing creation. That is basically by default it's assumed basically. So if you are in the investment industry basically, so basically whoever basically takes the money basically from the software industry basically, they for example in Mumbai they have collected 1 lakh crore rupees, and from 1 lakh crore rupees they are going to invest the money of 1 lakh crore in some existing creation and might be in the new creation. So basically in IT industry basically all the creation are basically almost done. That is basically you can say combo box equal to 1000 cities, text box equal to 1000 cities, like this basically checkbox equal to 1000 cities. That mostly basically every each and every creation 70 percentage creation is almost done. So but basically creation still it's pending, and the existing creation also basically required lots of maintenance. So basically that also required the money. Without money basically nothing you can do. So basically bank requires money, because bank will say that if you want to uh, create your software industry in a good manner and without any error basically, without any hacking basically happens, because hackers also gets activate sometime basically. And basically they, I am not telling that hackers are getting activated or banking innovation is not happening, that's why they gets activate. So basically I'm not telling directly like this basically. So here basically the banking investment has to be happen, and like this lots of things are basically getting created, and existing creation also basically required about lots of maintenance. And for that basically lots of companies, lots of banks says that we have created lots of products basically. Whenever the new product has created, that time basically we have created lots of products basically which are going to basically when one product gets created, for example textbooks equal to 1000 cities. So textbooks creation, that is basically one product for the bank basically you can say. So bank for product basically, for product basically this is one product. For the software industry also you can say it's basically one product only basically, because it's going to be reusable basically. And reusable means SAP is using it, Microsoft is using it, the Salesforce is using it, C++ is using it, Java group is using it, Python is using it, PHP group is using it, COBOL is mainframe is there. Many basically COBOL basically you can say. And there are many basically database application also basically they are using this, like Oracle apps is there. They are basically using this text box basically, and like this basically it's where there are many databases are also basically they are using, because in database also there are many front end screen also in mainframe basically there are many front end screen. So like this basically a text box is getting reusable everywhere, because that's why basically it has given the name as a product basically, that you can say. So here basically we are talking about the investment which bank is doing, and bank says that we don't have any money. Whatever money you give, that only we do the investment. So whatever money it's basically in the bank, that basically we rotates the money basically. And the rule says that if you are doing some investment in the bank, then basically bank 100% do the investment. 100% rotates the money in the land side basically. So basically they invest the money in the land only. And then basically if it's a long term investment, then basically this example I have taken, that if they are doing investment in the text box equal to 1000 cities, then basically that text box is going to create oil, petrol and vegetables. Then basically that oil and petrol and vegetables, when it will get be sold, that time basically the money which retailer group is going to get, then the banks get into picture the basically. And then lots of division happens and lots of plus minus happens in the banking industry. And like this basically banks do the investment, and banks basically say that we have done the investment. And like this it's a big investment. Now basically we'll talk about the how basically India country is running the government basically. For example, I will take one simple example. The Adani Group investment, basically, the Adani Group is gone down basically, and around more than 10 lakh to 20 lakh crore rupees has been lost basically, you can say. So where this money has gone? So I am not telling that government has taken this money directly. I am not telling. So basically, that I am not telling that how basically government is running this. Their house basically, you can say it's basically house only. India is basically one house for them basically. So how Indian government sitting in the parliament house is running the India country. So Adani basically group says that if basically if Adani groups this 20 lakh rupees has been basically taken by the government, then basically you can just imagine how basically the government is handling the business world also, sales world also. So I'm not directly telling that Adani group's money has been taken by the government and government has invested that into the India country basically. I'm directly not telling it. So government is running the country like this. I am not telling that the government is running the country directly like this basically. So if government is telling that we are taking the money from like this basically, so that also I'm not directly telling. So basically here the point is, if the government is not trusting anyone, then basically whatever the businessman, whoever is the businessman of India, big level businessmen that are basically the employee of government. So is this the question basically, or it's the answer basically? That basically you can basically search in the Google basically whether the Adani industry is created by the government, or government group has created the Adani group, or basically like Reliance is also there, TCS is also there, Tata Group is also there. So Tata Group is also basically one of, because sometimes Tata Group's money also are taken. Adani Group has money has just taken basically. So that board mostly visit more than 15 lakh crore basically, you can say more than 15 lakh crore. So basically like this you can say the government is running the their home basically. So this is the, if like this basically government is running the India country, then basically this is the worst basically case, you can say, how basically the sales industry is happen. So basically, if you say the sales is handling from the bad sales is happening from the government side, and then basically private starts like this type of sales, then basically it would not be wrong. Basically, this is, I am not directly telling you that basically how the sales industry sales is ongoing of the government and then the private, because the few people says that private copies the government and few people says that government copies the private, and like this basically uh, uh, many basically things are there. Basically, I will take one more example of the government basically how bad basically government is. This actually I have heard one with someone basically. I have not verified it. I will just tell you one story. Basically, there was one person basically. He basically has uh, done some bad to the company. He has done the mail to the top level management that you are not properly handling the people. Then basically he left the organization, and then basically that person basically he was a businessman and he was paying the tax amount to the government, and he was very closely connected with some big businessman basically of India. I'm not directly telling the name. Like this, basically they were connected. He was that person was connected with the very closely with the top businessmen. So basically, they have done one plan basically. So what was that plan basically? So that plan was, they basically planned that person marriage, and the marine marriage basically that girl basically was HIV/AIDS. So just see basically up to what level bad government is doing. So basically, like this basically, and they are still sitting at the Parliament House after doing this all the thing. And then basically he was HIV/AIDS given, and then the girl also done. The girl basically was told that by the government basically do his nasbandi also, and the girl has done the nasbandi also. Just see the, up to the bad level basically. I'm not. This was actually one story which was told by one of the person to me, and that basically story I am telling you, because this was basically lively. This was happened in Mumbai city. Mumbai government basically has done this. So like this basically, then that person basically was done Nasbandi, and his generation was end, and he was basically from software industry. He has worked with 3 and Huday Capgemini. So just to see basically up to what bad level the government does. and the still government is sitting at the parliament house after doing this all the thing. And then basically his Nasbandi was done, and then basically his generation was ended because his Nasbandi has done. Then basically the divorce happened, and like this basically in divorce basically what are the things happened? Do you want to know how basically this was divorce happened? So the government is not supposed to know, or whether the government, the other type, other part government is also there. For that basically they planned one, you can say one Bollywood court, basically the Bollywood High Court was there, and in Bollywood High Court basically they have called that boy, and like this basically his entire property was entire money was taken by the and by the court basically, and like this basically the entire money was taken, and in this basically the High Court was of the Bollywood side. So I have just heard this with someone that there are many industries, many field basically they have their own creation. Like for example, Bollywood court is also there. Bollywood High Court is also there. Bollywood Police Station is also there. And this basically is supported by the government also. Basically, government says that we don't have to get into this all the thing. Basically, like this basically, Bollywood Raj basically you can say Bollywood Dadagiri you can say, and like this basically his entire money was taken, and then basically he was basically got divorced. Like this basically he got Nasbandi and he got HIV/AIDS also. And then basically a few people got this information, and then to give the answer to Bollywood and the other industry, other software company basically who has planned this, then basically the HIV medicine was taken, and the HIV medicine was given to that boy, and then basically he was normally treated, and he got the blood group also. Like this basically lots of things are happening basically. So why basically I am taking this into this basically, because this also is going to be taken into the project management plan, because it's a Bollywood group basically. So Bollywood, there is Bollywood, it's one category, and that category basically is going to be has added in the PMP, and whatever task basically Bollywood software industry is going to use. So that is also going to be charged. That is also going to be calculated in the project management plan formula basically. And now basically here government has word has came, because this was planned by government, and government has told that to do his Nasbandi and do his HIV, give one girl who have the HIV. It's like this basically the marriage has happened, and then basically the government has and treated that boy as a lesson, and basically and given send and created as a lesson also. Basically lots of lesson was created, and the male person basically who got the mail, that person was informed that just see basically we have done his HIV/AIDS and uh, Nasbandi. Like this basically the government was getting more tax basically, because the government is telling we have done good to that businessman. So basically the businessman has given more tax to the government basically. Like this basically government has earned lots of money with the by doing the by creating the lesson, and still they are sitting at the parliament house after after this all the things has happened. Like this basically the each and everything was created, and like this the government word is also getting added in the formula basically. And here basically we from this story basically, this is basically a real story, and which was told by someone to me in Mumbai basically when I was searching the job. That time basically somebody has told me, and this was basically told in 2010 basically, before the 2011 World Cup, which the Mahendra Singh Dhoni has won, and how he has won that basically everybody knows. And this is not supposed to be disclosed. How basically the World Cup was won by the Indian team basically. For that, what hard work they have done, they also know. So each and everything basically we are going to cover basically in this in this Formula 52 is ongoing, and like this basically the formula word is ongoing, and like this we are stopping here, and in the 53rd part basically we are going to discuss a little bit more about the formula word.